Hey y'all, it's Kiasha, aka Your Black Doula, and thanks for joining me today. As you can see, I'm starting off with a little skincare today. We are officially 3 days out from my total hysterectomy, and in true last minute girly fashion, I have a couple of things that I need to get done and get finalized before my surgery takes place. So we're doing a little bit of skincare to get started with our day. Then I actually have a virtual welcome visit that I'm going to be conducting with a birth client who is going to be giving birth in the spring. We're super duper excited for this couple. And then I have an appointment in downtown Pittsburgh. So I'm going to take you all with me downtown. If you've never been, it's a fun and interesting place. So you get to go with me. Right now, I am just giving my hair a little bit of a spritz. Then I'm going to give it some love with tea tree oil. And we're just going to do a nice little top ponytail. Nothing difficult. I'm not even going to do my edges today. I just didn't really feel like being bothered. But we are not going to skip the earrings. Okay. Something about these little stud letter K earrings that I got from the beauty supply just really speak to me. And they match my necklace. So we're going to rock these today and see if we can't make today an awesome one. All right. All right. Y'all come along with me. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
So today's virtual welcome visit is with a first-time mommy who is due this spring. And this visit is just a chance for a new client to meet both the primary and backup doula who have been assigned to their birth. We collect important demographic info and medical history as well. And we review the client timeline.
But thank you so much. This really shed a lot of light on what I need to do next.
All right, my dear. It was so good seeing you. And we will see you again soon to get this birth plan situated.
And get it scheduled.
Absolutely. All right, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, so that visit went just a little bit longer than I thought. But now I'm getting ready to get out because I got an appointment. And y'all coming with me, period.
For those of you who are not familiar with the city, driving and parking in downtown Pittsburgh is an absolute nightmare. So we weren't going for that. It was a no-brainer to go ahead and pay my $275 to hop on this bus to make it downtown. So that's what I did. And I want to give a big shout out to my daughter who bought these dunks for me in my favorite color. So I am getting off now at Penn Station, and I love getting off here. It's a little bit of a further walk than I needed to go, but there's a reason. Because when I was young, my favorite thing to do when I came down here was walk directly into the middle of this big, I don't know what this is called, rotunda, and spin around while I was singing and letting it echo all up and through there. And it just brought back so many fond memories. I can't lie to y'all. The next couple seconds of footage that you're going to see is the only footage I got of myself downtown. Why? Because my microphone immediately died as soon as I got downtown. Not sure why. So we're going to end up right back at home, y'all. Today drained me. Drained the very life and soul out of me. Part of it was my fault. The part that was my fault was I ate at 8 o'clock this morning. I left my house at 1 p.m. having not eaten another bite of anything. So that was bad. That was thumbs down. I've been doing a whole lot of thinking today, specifically about motherhood, which makes sense given my, procedure that's coming up. And I don't have a problem with my own motherhood journey ending, at all, but it has brought up so many thoughts about how I have felt about my journey with my own mother and how troubled and just unpredictable it's been for the majority of my life. I've been in no contact with my mom for 6 years now. And for me, that's a celebration. Being in relationship with my mom was becoming so much heavy emotional work. And it's even heavier when the parent has like no intent on accepting, acknowledging, taking ownership of their mistakes. It just makes it 10 times worse. But then you have times, and a lot of people don't want to talk about this, but then you have times when there's like major life events or you're facing something daunting or scary. And it's like, God damn, I wish my mom had some fucking sense, because I could really use that support. On another hand, a lot of times your brain just like kicks into do it myself mode, because you just know that your mom's not reliable. You know that you can't have certain conversations with your mom because she lacks emotional maturity. You know that you can't tell your mom certain things because she doesn't value your privacy or respect you as an adult with your own feelings, your own emotions. It sucks because you're supposed to be able to lean on your mom like when you don't have it in you. And things like this, when I'm preparing for a surgery, preparing to recover from a surgery, it's kind of like it should be all hands on deck. Like it should be a no-brainer to call your mom. But to be very honest, it's a no-brainer for me not to call, not to reach out, because of her not understanding that someone asking for help or someone needing help doesn't mean that they should just take whatever kind of help comes. You have a right to set boundaries in the way that you need to and still need help. She really can't see past me being a child and her being the parent. And despite me having to support her in many, many ways that are not in line with what a child should be doing for a parent, she wants the playing field to still be one where she is in this hierarchy. I'm 37 years old. We're literally both adults. We're literally both grown. And it's just such a struggle for her to let go of the feeling of control that you have when your child is smaller. Because it's not just control, it's also the ability to manipulate, but that doesn't work anymore. When you surpass your parent in emotional maturity, it feels super lonely, because not only as you grow do you want them to grow, but you also want to be able to relate to them. And it kind of feels like you can no longer relate to them. You see things differently. And in you seeing things differently, it's like you see how they never really respected you as a person. You recognize the voids that are still there, even having your parent still here. It feels like that parent is gone because there's no relatability, there's no connection, there's no place for total freedom and honesty. And when you have built that for yourself, in yourself, and for your family and the people around you, you continue to crave it, and you don't want to jeopardize that peace for anybody. And that was literally the decision that I made. I had to set myself free. Like I literally had to learn to trust my own decision making. I had to learn who I was outside of her. I had never been given that freedom. Anytime I was in her presence, I was under her scrutiny. Anytime I was around her and had an opinion that differed from hers, or voiced any kind of displeasure or negative emotion towards her, it was automatically shut down as disrespect. I think one of the biggest issues that might have caused my mom to really not see things for what they were is a complete lack of vision outside of herself. Very me-centered, and that showed in her decision making. It continues to show in her decision making. I can't say that I'll ever be willing again to be around her because, well, to be very honest, I like the peace that I've created. I like the people in my world that have no problem with respecting and adhering to my boundaries. I used to wonder why it was so hard for my mom to just like hear me, to just take what I'm saying and feeling seriously. It was either dismissed or laughed about. A lot of, jokes and making fun of, but if you show a sign that you don't like what's being said, then you're too sensitive, which is kind of whack if you think about it. I will do my eyebrows. Yeah. I won't be able to have no type of makeup. I won't even be able to have lotion on for my surgery. So I'm going to color my brows. That's what I'm going to do. So I don't have to feel so bare and ashy at the same time. There was a TikTok that I saw that really went into how like lonely and isolating it feels when you have a mom that is emotionally unavailable. Because even if she's right in your face every single day and participating in your life, a lot of our parents just didn't learn about and didn't see, still don't see the value in emotional and mental wellness as well. Don't panic. Don't panic. I'm just doing a little tint. And those of you who are unaware, the cheat code is the Just for Men beard and mustache color. Okay, that's the cheat code. Anywho, don't worry, we're just coloring the freaking hair. It's not gonna stick to my skin. It's not gonna look like all dark and heavy like that. Okay, so don't freaking panic. My mom has 5 kids. I'm the oldest. We are all no contact with her. But if you ask her the reason why, and we all have our reasons, but if you ask her, she will tell you that it is because all 5 of us are just ungrateful and disrespectful. And that's why we don't speak to her. She kind of fails to realize that it goes so much deeper than all of that. What really was the turning point in me deciding to go no contact was realizing that so much of the things that made me feel bad about being around her when I was young, she was starting to do to my daughter. She was starting to make those same little comments. She was starting to really resent the fact that I allowed my daughter to have a voice, that I allowed my daughter to have opinions of her own, make her own decisions, and get guidance from me that wasn't judgmental or one-sided. And I feel like toxic mothers want to see that same cycle continue in the next generation. When they notice that what they did isn't being upheld, the rules they put in place aren't being like recreated, they are up in arms. I don't think that older generations of parents understand that, like, you don't get to decide if you're a good parent. The child decides if you're a good parent. They are the ones who decide if you gave them what they needed. And if you don't listen to your kid ever, there's going to be a disconnect. There's going to be a disconnect between what you give, how you give it, and how your child receives it. If your child is telling you all of the ways that you made them feel less than, or bringing up things that may have been done or said years ago that still sting, that still linger, that still hurt, you don't get to tell them to get over it. You don't get to tell them it didn't happen. Validation goes so far. Accountability goes so far. And I feel like there's so many of us that just want an honest fucking apology. Just want an honest, genuine expression of remorse at the pain that you caused. Without that as a starting point, there's literally no way that you can expect for reconciliation to happen. Like, you literally don't have a right without some kind of acknowledgement of the truth in the way that your child feels. I have to be honest, I don't see that happening with my mom. I just don't see it. But I've come to a place where, thank goodness, I've grown a village that is so strong, full of people that love me like the full me and don't ask me to dim my light or move my boundaries, and just respect all of me and let me be all of who I am without judgment. And it's supposed to be that you find that in your mom first, especially as a woman. It's supposed to be that you find that acceptance and that love and that validation from your mom first. Your mom is supposed to be the one to teach you how to embody self-love. It's supposed to guide you in how to properly love yourself. And when you don't have that, you spend a whole lot of time relearning. You spend a whole lot of time uncovering things that you didn't even know you forgot about. And you have to unpack that all by yourself if you don't have, the proper people around you. I think that parents don't realize how difficult it is to go no contact in the first place. Like, this is not something that you wake up one day, you get into a fuss with your parent, and then you're like, you know what? I never want to speak to this person ever again in my life. That's literally not how it goes. Most of the time, if you ask adults that have gone no contact with their parent, they have bitten their tongue, swallowed their pain and their tears, and put their own hurt on the back burner for years before finally finding the courage to step outside of this bubble that they've been feeling trapped in for so long. Like, that is not an easy decision, especially when you have a parent who has drilled into your head the loyalty, the respect, that you must have, that you are obligated to have for your parent. And after a while, when I began to kind of deconstruct that way of thinking, I realized that for as long as I can remember, and this epiphany came around 30 years of age. I'm 37 now. And I realized that for as long as I could remember, I didn't love my mom. I respected my mom. I felt obligated to my mom. I felt a responsibility to take care of my mom. Those things have all been taught to me. But because I wasn't modeled true emotional connection, I don't have that. I don't have that from my mom. And once those ties were cut from responsibility, obligation, and loyalty, all you have left is what your parent has actually poured into you outside of those things, outside of obedience, outside of obligation, outside of responsibility, outside of respect, outside of honor, outside of loyalty. You only have what's left. You only have what that parent has truly poured into you emotionally and mentally. And guess what? That shit was. And once you become an adult child, all of those things are not there anymore. You're no longer in their house. You're no longer under their rule. And so parents that don't have that emotional connection will try to continue to hang loyalty and obligation and responsibility and all of that over your head as a reason why you should continue to stay in that childish state. But the natural order of things is for you to pour into your child while they're young. Sow into your child when they're young. And when they're older, you're going to reap the benefits of the love, the encouragement, the peace that you planted. If you only plant seeds of obligation, of responsibility, baby, that's not going to feed you in the long run. Because that shit runs out. Once you're an adult and you are able to truly make decisions for what you want to do with your life, what you want your life to look like, how you want to feel about the people in your life. And that includes your parents. I know that being a mom is not easy. I've been a parent for 18 years and I've been doing it completely solo since she was 2 years old. My daughter's father passed when she was 2.5. And I know that shit ain't easy. But what makes it 10 times harder is when you ain't honest with yourself. When you paint a picture that's not really there. When you create a narrative that doesn't really match real life. One day, the bubble is going to burst. And if you're not ready to face it, if you're not ready to be honest, if you're not ready to do actual introspective work, you're going to be sitting there by yourself holding those feelings of responsibilities not taken seriously, of loyalty met with betrayal, of obligations not fulfilled. Why? Because that's all you see your child as. And so you feel burned. You feel like a victim. You've now turned yourself into a victim of parent alienation rather than the perpetrator of emotional neglect against your child. That's all it is a change in narrative so that your feelings aren't hurt. When I have spent an entire childhood with hurt feelings, with unheard, unmet needs. And I can't do it no more. So this surgery is going to be a renewal, a fresh start, a new start. Now let me go wash these eyebrows off real quick.